all those that are monitoring us via the social media platform, it's my distinguished honor to welcome to the podium IGP of the Liberia National Police, Honorable Gregory O.W. Coleman. Welcome, sir.
Good afternoon to all. Our quest for accountability and transparency in the delivery of law enforcement services continues. It is not one of those calls that you want to get ever in your career. However, last night I received a call around somewhere around 9:15 of an incident that had occurred around the Banja gas station of an officer-involved shooting. This incident involved an officer who has been identified as Inspector Dele S. Fire, and the victim is Mr. Mohammed Manuba. At about 9:15 when we received the call, the information we had then was limited. Immediately we initiated the procedures for officer-involved shooting and had the team go out there. So far so good, investigation is ongoing, but as we promised that when these things happen, we will keep the public informed and not to have them assuming or to have people filling the spaces giving disinformation and misinformation. So I'm here to share with the general public what we know thus far. What I can confirm to you is that this investigation, like all our engagements going forward, will be open, it will be transparent, we will continue to be accountable to the people, even in event where we don't even find the strength to speak about, it is yet still our responsibility to inform the public because it is your money that paid us. We're only here as a law enforcement body because the people exist. So, first and foremost, I'd like to sympathize with the family for their loss. This event led to the tragic death of a 19-year-old identified as Mr. Manuba, who at this point in time we informed had an altercation with Inspector Mohammed David Fayad. This officer was off duty. This officer was not a firearm carrier in the Liberia National Police. This incident was now one that occurred as a result of delivery of law enforcement services. He was on his way home from wherever off duty when he encountered the victim. What we knew at this point in time, there was a verbal exchange. He drove off, turned around, came back to the victim. Victim was fleeing. He pulled the weapon that he had and shot the victim in the back. He fled the scene, and when we got the information, we went to pick him up. We arrested him throughout the night last night. We made sure to work tirelessly to retrieve the murder weapon. The weapon is currently here. It is not a government registered weapon. It is an illegal weapon that have initiated a whole different investigation as to how that particular weapon entered this country. There's a lot of illegal weapons passing around that entered the country over the last years, and it is our duty to ensure that we try to retrieve them from the streets. There's different measures being put in place for people to bring them forward, but until that can happen, we will be aggressively pursuing people who are carrying these illegal weapons, including officers. Today, last night, as part of our intervention, we instructed the Professional Standard Division to start to engage all police officers around the country, start to talk to the fellow officers who they serve with, to say something about those who receive illegal weapons. And that goes to every other agency in this country with security personnel who carry weapons that are not registered to the government. This incident is quite regrettable. The officer is in custody. He joined the police in 2010. He came in under class 35. We've just concluded the coroner's inquest establishing the cause of death, which is clearly indicated as bullet wound, as the cause of injury from bullet wound, as the cause for death. We will continue the investigation. We will be very thorough in it. We will dig into all of the activities of this officer to understand his intent, because this is not the mission and the vision of the Liberia National Police. We are here to uphold professional standard. We're here to ensure that the safety and security of the state remains impeccable. So the thing is, while we're peddling, there are others who are digging holes in the boat. And you cannot control each and every action. What we're responsible for and what I ask you all to hold you accountable for is when these things happen, how we deal with it. The officer is now in custody. Investigation is ongoing, and we will continue to inform the public as we get more information. But for now, this is how much we have. This is how much we can share, so as to not compromise the investigation. The release is ready. The family has not. The family had indicated last night through a phone call, because when this happened up to 3-4 o'clock last night, I was on the phone with religious leaders, community leaders, members of the family, trying to coordinate to prevent any form of violence and just to sympathize and empathize the action. And I think the family have been quite understanding. Whatever outrage that we see is 100% quite understandable for this kind of laws that was quite unexpected. Our prayers are with the family, and our commitment to ensuring that the rule of law prevails remain intact. That being said, I would like to speak on another development that has to do with a series of planned protests for next week. It's the right of citizens to peacefully protest, to express their grievances when there are issues of concerns, which there most times are. And it's our responsibility as a law enforcement body to provide them the needed protection. And we are committed to doing that. We would like to admonish the public that these people have their rights to protest, so we will ask that we all understand that, and also like to inform them that those who are not part of the protest have their rights that we have to protect as well. So my advice to those who are planning the protest would be to at least respect public spaces and try to avoid the obstruction of the movement of other people from their daily activities. I would also like to admonish the public that we have been reliably informed that amongst some of those who are planning to peacefully protest are people with nefarious intent to destabilize the peace. And we have sufficient information about the possibilities of them having lethal weapons. So we are warning the public to please try to avoid these gatherings when you see them. The police will provide immediate protection. As I speak to you, there's an ongoing review of use of force policy as to how we can properly manage the situation if it escalates beyond being peaceful. We want to reassure the nation that at the Liberia National Police, we're ready to provide immediate protection for the protesters and those whose rights will be interfered with during any form of protest. But we are calling on the organizers to understand what is at stake here. A breach of the peace will not be tolerated. And we will do everything we can within the confines of the law, upholding our use of force policy to ensure that the peace is protected. This peace was earned with the sweat and blood of many men and women, and will be preserved to ensure economic development and prosperity of this nation. With the issue of these illegal weapons, here it is. One illegal weapon has taken the life of another child. A lot of other illegal weapons who ultimately show up in a protest. We're going to launch a serious operation to try to retrieve some of these illegal weapons from the street, just as to provide increased safety and security for our people. Please, those who are protesting, it's your right to protest. Please remember that you're being informed that there's a possibility of people having lethal weapons in some of those crowds that you could be a part of. So please take note and govern yourselves. Thank you.
With that being said, we'll take a couple of questions, and what you do at this time, you raise your hand and you'll be recognized.
All right, Honorable IG, my name is Kopo Sanga and I report for Truth FM. Honorable IG, are you troubled by all of these events since taking over, citing the King George issue, the rehab, and this one? Are you troubled, and what does it mean for the police and you as the IG, and what are measures being put in place to curtail all of that?
I am as a citizen of the Republic of Liberia, I am deeply troubled by all of these different occurrences. As the Inspector General of Police, I have the responsibility to look into these things to get a detailed understanding to prevent future reoccurrences. And when I say that I'm troubled with one, specifically the King George incident, before coming back, my work in the non-governmental space was in these very communities, looking at alternative sustainable livelihood for these people and looking at ways to avoid violence in those communities. And then I went into this first incident, which is still being investigated at another level. I mean, looking at what the police initial investigation here. Then all of these occurrences back and forth, it leads me to want to think what's going on. Are some of these things intentional? I mean, are officers just losing muscle memory? So there are multiple questions in my head as a citizen of the Republic and as Inspector General of the Liberia National Police. But trust me, there's detailed investigation ongoing to delve into some of these issues to actually understand. I mean, could there be people who are just intentionally drilling holes in the boat as we're rolling to go forward to improve security? There could be. But my commitment to you all is to keep you informed as soon as we know something more to you. But I'm deeply troubled at heart. I'm troubled over the peace and security of this nation. I'm troubled about the advancement of the livelihood of our people. And that's why we come forward to be very accountable, to be able to provide immediate security. I mean, no police chief will want to be here on a Sunday doing what I'm doing right now. You ultimately feel when the action of one of your members lead to a loss of life, whether it's a criminal or not, because the ultimate objective of policing is to protect. Protect. That's the key word. Life and property. But justice will be served. This investigation will be very, very swift and detailed. We're not going to leave any stone unturned. We're going to pull the officer's life apart and look into every aspect, religious, ethnic, political, everything. We want to make sure we detail it to satisfy, because this is a senseless killing, basically. Very senseless. It doesn't even make sense at all. It doesn't. This is a child, a 19-year-old kid. You're an officer, you should take insult. The kid did not assault you. You're built for that. You're expected to maintain courageous calm, even in the face of danger, scorn, and ridicule. So yes, I am troubled. That could have been my child. It could have been my relative. He is a Liberian who I'm duty bound, I'm sworn to protect. So yes, I'm troubled. Thank you.
My name is Winston Bly. First, let me commend you on your watch. You are not one of the commanders who share dirty deeds of police officers all over the public and some of their actions. But I'm very concerned. Is it, from the book of things, is it that some of your men in the police, like an explanation of duty, not carry of an arm, unfortunately, and then the ends took the life of somebody. This is not a question on your watch that innocent Nigerians are being killed. I know it's not something that we expected to see happening on your watch. It's not that the laws of the book are not strong in law to punish officers of the Liberia National Police who will do this or what. Because who knows, next week will be of another. Or recent, you were just kneeling down, begging the family. Here we are today. Isn't that the law is not strong enough to punish?
No, I believe the laws are strong enough. The case with the other officer, I mean, it was dealt with swiftly as well. The most appropriate charge on the book was given to him. He was forwarded to court and remanded to the central prison. I think the laws are strong. It's what we do when these things happen. The thing is, so now, I mean, we should not wait for another to happen for us to do. We must act swiftly. We must act swiftly. And that is why the call today is for a more refresher. Like I said earlier, I've called trainers from all over. I mean, just bring in officers to review the use of force. When the incident happened with the last kid, one of the things that we did here at the police was to withdraw all of the weapons from everyone who are not PSU or ERU, who are not being certified within the last 6 months. So basically, all of the different commanders all around, we've taken all the weapons from them until we can find the funding to recertify them before we can even reissue weapons to them. So I was a bit relaxed that, well, I mean, nobody out there has weapons. Those who have weapons are trained carriers. They are always usually reminded with the use of force, which is the PSU and PRA. But I mean, to my surprise, when I got this call, I was shocked. Like, how did he get a weapon? So last night, I did not leave here till almost 4 o'clock in the morning. I said I wasn't going until the weapon was found. And we found the rare weapon.
No, sorry, you're not responding to that. Is it something like some of the men carrying out arms that should not be carried with this incident?
Well, there's no one in the Liberia National Police that you see with a government-issued firearm that is not authorized to carry, that has not been certified. My concern with them carrying has been the fact that the use of force policy called for biannual recertification, and some of them who have been carrying have not been recertified like up to 19 years. But they have been carrying weapons, so I will do all of the weapons from these people for a recertification before they can be reissued.
Prince from Palm.
So, my name is Prince Mobile, and I report for PRAN and Focus Liberia TV. So, you said the weapon used in this incident is not a government-assigned weapon, it's illegal weapon. So that draws my attention to, prior to your comment here as Police Inspector General, several weapons were seized by the government or was arrested by the government. Since you are in sick now, can you say, what have you find out that what actually happened to those weapons?
So this report has been released. I can have you all pick up copies from the Press and Public Affairs. That case has been concluded and it has been sent to court. The findings are very clear. Notwithstanding, it was just fortunate that this cache was arrested. They were able to discover this cache on. What happened to all the other ones? It is a clear indication that there's so much more that one of those very illegal weapons have led to the death of this young man. So it's not just that cache. That particular cache we investigated is included if you retrieve every last weapon that was listed at that particular time as per that operation. We went into details looking at the action of our officers around that particular arrest, looking at the investigation, all of the steps, everything, and we successfully concluded that So that case is closed, but I'm still concerned about the proliferation of illegal weapons out in this country. And over the last few years, a lot of them made their way here. They're in the hands of people. So let's go back to the fact that there were people who were issued permits. Some of those permits came from the EPS. Some of them came from the small arms bin. And these were not weapons that were owned by the government of the Republic of Liberia. When the Firearm Act was concluded, it called for licensing of importers and licensing of distributors. As long as those conditions have not been certified to say this person is an importer of weapon, this person is a distributor of weapons locally, any weapon brought into this country was brought in by an illegal means. And the government then was basically registering these weapons to different individuals. We're working now with the small arms, we're pulling all of the lists of individuals whose weapons were registered, that those weapons must be brought back in. Because the first weapons are all illegal. Whether you came and brought it and they agreed to register it, then tell me how you got it. Where did you buy it? Let's agree it was registered. Where did you buy it? Is there a certified dealer here? Is there a certified importer to have brought it in? So we're doing everything we can to retrieve some of these weapons from the street. Look, this thing, we're at a bad place. Trying to get things back on course is going to take a lot. I'm sorry that I'll be standing here to break the ice in such a manner. But things were complicated. They are complicated. The security structure and constructs that they basically have to be rebuilt. Basically rebuilt. The misuse and abuse of authority, has led to a lot of bridges within the entire sector that has weakened it to a larger extent. That's why you're seeing these things happening back and forth. But we can assure the Liberian people that we will not rest. We will work tirelessly to ensure that we restore the trust of the people, we regain our legitimacy, and we strengthen the security of the state.
Yes, my name is Mark Mugonfia. I report for New Republic. You are reviewing your use of force policy at the heels of planned protests. Can you tell the public what this use of force is?
Well, the use of force, we can have you, we'll give you a copy of our use of force policy so that you can read it. We've published it before in multiple newspapers. It's just our guidance on what to do. You have a weapon, when do you use it, how do you use it, basically. So it's just a reminder that you're going out there could be provocation. Be reminded that this is, when you have a weapon, at this point in time you cannot use it. At this point in time you got to establish what is the threat. Are you in an immediate mortal danger? All of those different areas. So let's not use this little time here to go into all of the lessons of it. If you want, I can allow you personally to sit in one of the use of force training to get an understanding of it, and that can be today. If you so desire. So talk to CC if you would like to sit down and participate in one of those activities.
Yeah, so thank you so much. My name is Mark here, and I report for Sky FM. I listened to you talk about receiving information from planned protests about disrupting the peace. Having listened to such information, is there a plan to restrict those who wanted to protest? If not, would they be allowed to just meet up around with other citizens who are worried about and taking into consideration the information received?
Well, we've called out to them to avoid, like I said, spaces that would interfere with the movement of people back and forth. I think you heard me say that initially. And we're working on a project to come up with designated protest areas. So as part of our promotion for freedom of speech and expression and to strengthen our democracy in Liberia, we're looking at areas where the government will provide all of the basic necessities for a protest. Restroom, loudspeaker, safe space where people can be heard and seen, for them to have as designated protest zones. We don't have many roads in this country. Every time someone comes up with a protest and block the road, they disrupt the normal business of the day. So yes, we'll come to a point where we will stop people from just jumping the road. And when that happens, when where designated protest zones are established. And those basic necessities to facilitate your expression are made available to you and you decide to come on the road, there will be absolutely no compromise nor negotiation. In any crowd that tries to obstruct the free movement, people will be immediately dispersed. But for now, we're asking them, since these areas are not yet established, to please avoid blocking the main corridors. Because if you block the main corridor, the police will have to respond. I understand you're right. I mean, you have some legitimate concerns, and it's your freedom to express them. But we're saying we're here to protect you. But when you obstruct the rights of others, then we have to come in to protect their rights as well. That's what I'm trying to avoid.
Can we take the last one, that is from Western?
So she is Webster Clay, and I report from Fish Africa.
Webster Clay.
Yeah. So in the state of the protest, you talked about protest, but you didn't mention the group name. What is the name of the group that is planning the protest, and what is the reason for such protest?
Well, I can only release as much as I have to you, and that I can, that will not compromise our operations. But like I said, there are a series of planned protests in different areas. I'm not going to name any individual those who are planning protests, they know themselves. We're here to protect them, to protect the Liberian people. Thank you.
Well, my esteemed media colleagues, thank you
Please,
for the time.
Please. This peace was earned sweat and blood of many Liberians. Preserving it means everything to us. We are not going to allow it to be disrupted in any way, shape, or form. It will be preserved. Order and dignity will be restored to this nation. Thank you.
Thank you. The IG will now retire.
This is due to consider taking for a project because a lot of people investigating and it's one of the from the Washington.